Thank you for your interest in the simalube, our automatic lubricant dispenser. In the following presentation, I will introduce you to the simalube in more detail. I will explain the most important features of the simalube and show you what advantages and benefits the dispenser offers. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The simalube is an automatic lubricant dispenser and is available in 6 different models. Our simalube is the best and most economical solution when it comes to uninterrupted grease or oil supply over periods of up to 1 year. The simalube has been successfully used millions of times worldwide in all kinds of industries. Here are some examples of industrial sectors where the simalube is already in use. The simalube is used in the chemical industry, in the paper and printing industry, both in the beverage industry as well as in the food industry. It is used in building services, in water treatment and wastewater treatment plants, in gravel and concrete plants, but also in elevators and escalators. Simalubes are also being increasingly used in wind turbines. In addition, they can be used in general engineering, on construction cranes and other construction machinery, and on recycling equipment. Our simalubes are also used in traffic engineering, as well as in cable cars and mountain railroads. Of course, there are many other industries in which our lubricators perform their service on a daily basis. Let's compare the simalube with a manual grease gun. When using a manual grease gun, the intervals between lubrication operations are often irregular. Also, the quantities of lubricant supplied varies greatly. Between the individual lubrication processes, the components are always over or under lubricated for a certain time. Both can lead to damage and ultimately to premature failure of the component. If machines and systems are to be lubricated with a grease gun, they often have to be switched off first for safety reasons. For example, if the lubrication point is located in a hazardous area. If, for example, bearings are lubricated in the rest position, the lubricant in the bearing often simply falls down and is not distributed properly in the bearing. The simalube continuously supplies the lubrication point with fresh lubricant and prevents the under or over lubrication that often occurs with manual lubrication. In addition, when the simalube is used, the plants no longer have to be shut down as often, or ideally, not at all. The bearings are lubricated by the simalube while the system is running. This also distributes the lubricant better. The dispenser is also convincing on the cost side. Compared to manual lubrication, costs can be reduced up to 30% by using the simalube. But what are the benefits of the automatic lubrication with simalube? Let's take a look at the 4 most important points. First of all, manual lubrication is completely eliminated and insufficient or over-lubrication of components, such as rolling bearings, is prevented. The simalube is a sealed, dust and waterproof system that meets international standards. Let's take a closer look at the individual points. By eliminating manual lubrication, the lubrication points no longer need to be checked as often. The maintenance effort is thus reduced and the time gained can be used for other tasks. Dangerous areas need to be visited less often, which in turn increases workplace safety. Hard to reach or hidden lubrication points are permanently supplied with lubricant and will no longer be forgotten. In addition, our experience shows that lubricant consumption is reduced by using the simalube. The components to be lubricated are reliably and continuously supplied with the right amount of lubricant. This reduces wear and increases the service life of the components. Reliable lubrication reduces the need for unscheduled maintenance and repair work, while at the same time increasing the availability and performance of the system. By using simalube, the confusion of lubricants can be excluded. The connection thread of the dispenser seals the lubrication point. This reduces the risk of the lubricant becoming contaminated. In addition, the dispenser generally protects the lubrication point from contamination. The simalube's device safety has been tested and confirmed by TÜV Süd. The dispenser also meets CE conformity and is also approved for applications in environments with potentially explosive atmospheres. All these standards contribute to safety and thus also improve workplace safety. The simalube does not contain any hazardous substances and, thanks to its simple design, can be disposed and recycled in accordance with regulations. Now that we have taken a closer look at the benefits, let's take a look at the various advantages of the simalube. We can divide this into 4 main groups. First, there is the reliability of the dispenser. Then, its environmental sustainability, the flexibility, and finally, the unlimited application possibilities. Here again, we will take a closer look at the individual points. First, let's look at reliability. All lubrication points are continuously supplied with the correct amount of lubricant. Even lubrication points that are difficult to access or somewhat hidden are not forgotten. The transparent housing allows easy monitoring of the filling level. Now let's move on to environmental sustainability. All simalube single-point lubricators can be refilled up to 3 times. This reduces unnecessary waste and reduces replacement costs. Disposing of the simalube at the end of its service life is very simple. First, remove the washer and then the drive. The empty dispenser remains. This means that there are only 3 components that need to be disposed of. The washer is disposed of in the normal household waste. The drive head is sent for battery recycling, and the empty housing is sent for plastic recycling. And the simalube lubricant dispenser does not contain any toxic substances. The simalube is a very flexible product. It can be used at ambient temperatures of -20 and +55 degrees Celsius. The simalube is available in 5 different sizes. The runtime of 1 to 12 months is freely selectable and stepless adjustable. After activating the dispenser, the runtime can be changed at any time. It does not matter whether this is to be increased or shortened. Would you like to fill the dispenser yourself? That is also no problem. The simalube is available filled with grease or oil, as well as empty. The simalube can also be used in a wide range of applications. Due to its compact design, the dispenser can be used even in the tightest spaces and with difficult accessibility. It can be mounted in all positions: 45 degrees, 90 degrees, upside down, even underwater up to a depth of 10 meters. Simatech also offers an extensive range of accessories for the simalube. These accessories create countless installation options. We fill the dispensers with lubricants from our standard range. These are modern and proven high-performance lubricants. Next, let's take a look at the simalube's technical specifications. First, the dispensers with sizes 30, 60, 125 and 250 ml. As you can see, all dispensers have a G1/4 inch connection thread. The outer diameter of 52 mm is also identical for all of them. Only the length varies. This means that the same mounting parts can be used for all dispensers, and a later change to a different dispenser size is very easy without having to make major changes to the entire installation. Before we look at how the simalube dispenser works, I will show you the most important components using the model shown. First of all, we have the drive, also called cartridge. The desired runtime is set at the top of the drive. The dried cells are installed in the drive and generate hydrogen gas after the dispenser is activated. The cells look like button batteries. However, they are not batteries but dry cells. The pressure chamber is filled with the hydrogen gas after the dispenser has been activated. The housing is made of a transparent PET plastic. This allows visual control of the dispenser. The piston is also made of plastic. It separates the lubricant from the pressure chamber. Conversely, it also prevents the hydrogen gas from flowing into the lubricant area. The washer prevents excessive contamination around the drive head. Important information on the use of the dispenser, as well as the production date, are printed on the label. The housing is welded with the so-called funnel. The G1/4 inch connection thread can then also be found on the funnel. Now that we have learned about the main components, I will show you how the simalube works. First, the dispenser must be activated by setting the desired runtime on the drive with an Allen key. Once the dispenser has been activated, the dry cells begin to produce the hydrogen gas. The gas flows through a small hole in the bottom of the drive into the pressure chamber and fills it. As soon as the gas in the pressure chamber has built up sufficient pressure, the piston is pressed down and the lubricant is forced through the opening in the funnel into the lubrication point. Now we come to the simalube 15 ml, the smallest dispenser in our range. simalube 15 ml is the smallest automatic lubricant dispenser available on the market and is therefore unique. Due to its compact size, it can also be used in extremely tight spaces. Unlike the larger simalube models, the casing is not made of plastic but of aluminium. However, this is the only difference. It also can be refilled up to 3 times, and both installation and operation are identical to the other dispenser sizes. The simalube 15 ml is also a good alternative to the simalube multipoint if less than 5 lubrication points need to be supplied with lubricant. Here again, we briefly take a look at the dimensions. Like all other simalube dispensers, the simalube 15 ml has a G1/4 inch connection thread. However, the outer diameter of 22 mm is significantly smaller. The components are essentially identical to those of the larger models. The biggest difference is clearly the casing, which is, as already mentioned, not made of plastic but aluminium. The housing is made of one piece. Thus, the funnel is also no longer needed. In addition, a hexagon with a wrench size of 20 mm has been attached to the simalube 15 ml to simplify loosening and tightening of the dispenser. Here is a brief overview of the most important data and information. The simalube is an automatic single-point long-term dispenser that works with grease or oil. The dispenser is powered by the hydrogen gas generating dry cells. The maximum pressure that the dispenser can reach is 5 bar. The runtime can be stepless adjusted from 1 to 12 months. The operating temperature for the simalube is between -20 and +55 degrees Celsius. The dispenser can be mounted in all positions and also works underwater up to a depth of 10 meters. The simalube can be filled with grease up to NLGI Class 2 or with oil. The recommended storage temperature is ± at 20 degrees Celsius. The dispensers should be activated no later than 2 years after the production date. This is necessary to ensure that even with a maximum runtime of 12 months, the dried cells still generate enough gas to completely empty the dispenser. As already mentioned, all simalube single-point lubricant dispensers can be refilled up to 3 times. I also mentioned the available sizes of 15, 30, 60, 125 and 250 ml. The weight of the dispenser depends, of course, on the dispenser size, but also on the specific weight of the lubricant. That's it for the simalube single-point lubricators. In addition to the single-point lubricators, Simatec also offers a multi-point lubricant dispenser, the simalube multi-point. The multi-point is mainly used for lubricating linear guides. The multi-point consists of 5 individual chambers with a volume of 8 ml each. This allows 5 lubrication points to be supplied with lubricant at the same time. It allows lubricant delivery of very small quantities over a long period of time. A connector is required to mount the multi-point. The dispenser is attached to the connector by the integrated snap connection. For each of the 5 chambers, a quick coupling for a hose with an outer diameter of 4 mm is provided in the connector. This allows the individual chambers to be connected to the corresponding lubrication points. The multipoint is ideally suited for lubricating linear guides. When looking at the dimensions, it is noticeable that the outer diameter of the multipoint is also 52 mm. Just like the single point dispensers 30, 60, 125 and 250 mm. However, the multipoint does not have a G1/4 inch connection thread, but a connection piece with a snap connection. The structure and operation of the multipoint are basically the same as for all other simalubes. Running time is again set at the drive. The hydrogen gas flows into the pressure chamber and builds up pressure. The main piston is pressed down by the gas pressure. This in turn presses down the 5 small pistons of the individual chambers simultaneously. The multipoint is attached to the system by means of a snap-on connector. Here again, the most important in brief. The multipoint is an automatic multipoint long-term dispenser for greases and oils. The multipoint is powered by the same hydrogen gas producing dried cell as all other simalubes. The maximum pressure is also 5 bar, and of course the runtimes can also be set stepless from 1 to 12 months. Also, as with the other simalube dispensers, the operating temperature is between -20 and +55 degrees Celsius. There is also no difference in the storage temperature compared to the other models. It is at 20 degrees Celsius. The multipoint should also be activated no later than 2 years after the production date. The dispenser volume is 5 times 8 ml and the weight of the multipoint depends on the lubricant used. In order to meet the high requirements regarding device safety, health and environmental protection, our simalubes have been thoroughly checked by independent testing organizations. Our dispensers have the following certificates or approvals. The simalube meets the requirements of the protection class IP68. It is CE marked and is approved for use in areas with explosive atmospheres. Additionally, the simalube has been tested by TÜV Süd. I will briefly explain what the individual certificates and approvals mean. The IP protection class indicates how securely a device's housing protects the internal electrical parts or electronics from contact, foreign bodies, or moisture. The abbreviation IP stands for International Protection. In the English-speaking world, the term ingress protection is also frequently used. While the first digit describes the protection against penetration of foreign bodies and against contact, the second digit indicates the protection against penetration of water. IP68 means that the simalube is dust-tight and protected against the immersion of water in case of permanent submersion. The CE marking is an indication that the product has been tested by the manufacturer and that it meets all EU-wide requirements concerning safety, health protection and environmental protection. CE marking is mandatory for all globally manufactured products marketed in the EU, provided they are subject to relevant EU directives. The explosion protection certification allows our dispensers to be used in areas with explosive atmospheres. This means that the simalube can be used both in Zone 0 the most hazardous zone for combustible gases, vapors and mists, and in Zone 20, the most hazardous zone for combustible dusts. In addition, the simalube also meets the explosion protection requirements that allow it to be used in mining. Another quality or safety feature is the inspection of the device safety by TÜV Süd. TÜV Süd is an independent technical testing organization that operates internationally. This inspection of device safety by TÜV Süd is voluntary. In some cases, the maximum pressure of 5 bar of the simalube may not be sufficient to exceed the back pressure of the application, or a longer lubrication line is needed, for example, to install the dispenser outside a hazardous area. In these cases, our pressure booster simalube Impulse Connect is used. Briefly about the dimensions of the simalube Impulse Connect. The connection thread of the Impulse Connect is also a G1/4 inch thread as with the simalube lubricant dispensers. This means that the Impulse Connect can be retrofitted without great effort. The outer diameter of the Impulse Connect is only slightly larger than the dispenser. This compact design allows the Impulse Connect to be installed even in very tight spaces. The length including the simalube depends on the size of the dispenser used. What does the Impulse Connect have to offer? Let's take a look at the features of the pressure booster. The simalube Impulse Connect is a fully automatic pressure booster. The drive is electromechanical. The piston pump is driven by the integrated electric motor. The Impulse Connect can be operated in combination with a simalube lubricant dispenser of size 60, 125 or 250 ml. The running time is also set here on the lubricant dispenser. Once activated, the lubricant dispenser supplies the Impulse Connect with lubricant. As soon as the Impulse Connect has received sufficient lubricant from the dispenser, the electric motor is started and the pump forces the lubricant into the lubrication line. As the name suggests, the Impulse Connect, unlike the simalube, does not deliver continuously but in impulses. A lubricant quantity of 0.5 ml is delivered with each impulse. Impulse Connect reaches a maximum pressure of 10 bar. It should be mentioned here that the entire dispenser is not pressurized, but only the quantity of lubricant to be pumped. This is gentler on the lubricant and helps to prevent it from bleeding. The status of the Impulse Connect is always visible via the two built-in LEDs. These flash red, green or blue every 10 seconds, depending on the status. Like the simalube lubricant dispenser, the Impulse Connect also works in all positions. Whether at 90 degrees, upside down, or 45 degrees, the Impulse Connect works. Even underwater. Thanks to the reusability of the Impulse Connect, replacement costs can be reduced. Due to the maximum pressure of 10 bar, longer lubrication lines can be used. When the simalube is empty, it must be replaced. To do this, only the dispenser must be unscrewed from the impulse connect. The impulse itself remains mounted on the system and does not have to be removed for the dispense change. As we have already seen, the outer diameter of the impulse connect is only slightly larger than the simalube. This makes installations possible even in tight spaces. Like the simalube, the impulse connect also complies with protection class IP68 and is therefore also dust and waterproof. And of course, the impulse connect is also CE marked. The simalube impulse connect can be connected to a suitable smartphone via the built-in Bluetooth module. With the help of our Simatech World of Maintenance app, the Impulse Connect can be configured and monitored. Here again, the most important data at a glance. Impulse Connect is an automatic pressure booster which is electromechanically driven. Power is supplied by a battery pack with 6 volt. The status of the Impulse Connect can be seen at any time by the flashing LED display. The Impulse Connect supports the Bluetooth Low Energy 5.0 standard. The range of the Bluetooth connection can be up to 20 meters. The Impulse Connect reaches a maximum operating pressure of 10 bar and the permissible ambient temperature for the impulse is between -10 and +55 degrees Celsius. In automatic mode, the runtime is set on the dispenser. In time mode, the same setting must be made on the dispenser and in the app. The lubrication volume, that means how much lubricant is delivered to the lubrication point per unit of time, depends on the dispenser size used and the set running time. The Impulse Connect can be used with simalubes 60 ml, 125 ml or 250 ml. Since the simalube supplies the Impulse Connect with lubricant, it is clear that the Impulse also works with greases up to NLGI Class 2 or with oils. The installation position is arbitrary and the Impulse Connect also works underwater. The Impulse Connect complies with protection class IP68 and is therefore also dust and waterproof. The warranty period is 3 years from the date of production or 10 empties of a simalube dispenser size 125 ml. This short animation shows the functionality of the Impulse Connect. Now let's move on to the material requirements, or in other words, what do I need to order and when? Basically, we distinguish between 3 scenarios. First of all, there is the initial installation of the Impulse Connect. For an initial installation, we naturally need an Impulse Connect, plus a battery pack and a simalube lubricant dispenser. The battery pack is already included in the scope of delivery of the Impulse Connect. To perform a classic dispenser change, a new simalube and a new battery pack must be procured. And then there is also the possibility of refilling the empty simalube yourself. In this case, a new battery pack and a new drive must be ordered. Of course, you will also need the grease or oil to be filled. The battery pack should be replaced each time the dispenser is changed or refilled. This is the only way to guarantee that the Impulse Connect always has sufficient energy available to function over a runtime of 12 months. If the Impulse Connect fails due to low battery voltage, the lubrication point will no longer be supplied with lubricant, which can lead to system failure if the system runs for a longer period of time. Such a failure costs time and quickly becomes very expensive. In comparison, the costs for a new battery pack are very low. In order to be able to install the simalubes, we offer a comprehensive and practice-oriented accessories program, which enables problem-free application. The accessories program is based on a modular system. This means that the various parts are compatible and can be combined in such a way that any lubrication problem can be solved. The range of accessories is very versatile and includes, among others, the following parts. We have different connectors, different brushes, both connecting and reducing nipples, as well as lubrication and refill nipples. 2 multiple adapters, protection accessories, various hoses, fixing material like clamps and mounting brackets, and grease cartridges and oil bottles. An overview of the available accessories can be found on our homepage simatech.com. In order to meet the lubrication requirements, different lubricants must be used depending on the application. For this purpose, Simatech offers a wide range of standard lubricants. The lubricant range for Simalube comprises modern and proven high-performance lubricants, which are suitable for the special requirements in the lubricant dispenser. Data sheets are available for all our standard lubricants. Filling the Simalube with other lubricants is possible. In addition, the dispensers are also available empty. Here is an overview of the 10 available standard greases. On the left side of the table we see both the name and some properties of the greases, and on the right side a rough overview where the greases can be used. Of course, our standard lubricant range includes not only greases, but also 5 oils. If you have any questions or need further information, please visit our homepage simatech.com or contact us via the contact form or send us an email. In some cases, the Simalube cannot or must not be screwed directly onto the lubrication point. For example, if the ambient temperature at the lubrication point is too high for the Simalube, or if the dispenser is to be mounted outside a hazardous area. Also, in the case of poorly accessible lubrication points, it may be advantageous to mount the dispenser somewhat away from the lubrication point. In such cases, the distance between the dispenser and the lubrication point can be bridged with hoses or piping. Especially when using Simalubes with grease, the maximum line length must be observed. This maximum line length depends mainly on whether the Simalube is used individually or in combination with the Impulse Connect. If the lubrication point is only equipped with the Simalube, the maximum line length is 0.5 meters. When using the Simalube with an Impulse Connect, the maximum line length can be up to 4 meters. Please also note the following recommendations. If a hose or lubrication line is required for the installation, it should always be as short as possible, but not longer than 4 meters. The inner diameter of the line should be between 6 and 8 millimeters. Both elbow fittings and reductions in the cross-section of the line should be avoided if possible. To support the user in his daily work with the simalube, Simatec offers useful online tools. One of them is the Calculation Pro. The online tool Calculation Pro enables simalube users to calculate the required running time and the required dispenser size. Running time and dispenser size are determined depending on the component to be lubricated and the operating conditions. The calculations can be performed for different components such as rolling bearings, chains, or plain bearings. Calculation Pro is available in 11 languages and is continuously being expanded. The tool is available as a browser version directly on our homepage and can also be downloaded as an Android or iOS app from the corresponding store. The second tool is the loop chart. The online tool loop chart can be used to create and monitor lubrication plans. The program offers the following functions: management of companies and lubrication plans, the creation of lubrication plans. In addition, to-do lists can be generated and printed out at the touch of a button. Automatic email notification means that dispensers changes or possible checks are no longer forgotten. With just a few mouse clicks, the required dispensers can also be conveniently reordered by email. To be able to use the Impulse Connect optimally, we offer our app Simatec World of Maintenance. The Impulse Connect can be configured and monitored using the app. Thanks to the Bluetooth connection between the app and the Impulse Connect, a wide range of information about the current operating status of the Impulse Connect can be called up and displayed. For example, it is easy to check the fill level of the dispenser or the battery voltage. Lubrication points that have not been equipped with an Impulse Connect can also be managed easily and efficiently via the app. The app is available as an Android or iOS version. For further information or questions, please contact us by mail, contact form, or just call us. Email address and phone number can be found on our homepage simatec.com. Thank you for your interest and your attention.